Every year, the world generates over 50 million tons of electric waste, and less than 20% is recycled properly. Now, imagine what happens when devastating floods hit damaged electronics piled up. Toxic waste speeds, and vulnerable communities are left with yet another crisis to manage. Welcome to the Sustainability Side, the podcast where we explore bold ideas for greener, more resilient future. I'm your host Dr. Sama, and today we are tackling a powerful question. How can flood affected communities turn challenges of e-waste into an opportunity for empowerment and circular economic growth? To help us answer that, I am joined by Dr. Nurul Aini Osman, a senior lecturer at Tyler's University, Malaysia, with over a decade of research in construction, management, and environmental sustainability. Dr. Nurul has become a leading voice in sustainable e-waste management and community-driven circular economy practices. Her work bridges academia, industry, and local communities, showing how disaster recovery can also spark innovation, skill development, and environmental resilience. So, if you ever wonder how sustainability, disaster recovery, and circular economy intersect, this episode is just for you. Sing it loud, let's unite on the sustainability side. Feel the love day and night. Let's turn the tides, make a change today. Together we define our sustainable way with every step we take. We rise and glow on the sustainability side. Let the givers flow. Alright, we are back with Dr. Nurul Aini Osman, a senior lecturer at Taylor's University, Malaysia. She is a true change maker, transforming how flood affects communities and talking about how to handle the e-waste. So, Dr. Nurul, welcome you to the Sustainability Side podcast. It is an absolute pleasure to have you here with us.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the invites. I'm very happy to sharing whatever that needed to share.
Thank you. So, I'm so excited to host you and share your knowledge with all of us listening here. Let's deep dive into our incredible work. Starting with that, I have my first question with you, which is like, many people don't immediately connect floods with electronic waste. Could you walk us through like how disasters like floods actually create or worsen e-waste problems?
Okay, so when we talk about floods, we usually picture damaged homes, cars, or roads. But one of the less visible impacts is on electronic waste. Because during
Hmm.
floods, household appliances like computer or even phones and all kinds of, they are usually actually beyond repairs. Why I say like that, when it's submerged into water and especially dirty flood water, which also will cause corrosion and short circuit. So normally when it come after flood, the waste management system is something under what we call under pressure. Everyone's panic to clear the debris and so on. So when it time on that panic attack, I mean under pressure, everything,
Hmm.
all the waste is end up mixed together. I means all the
Hmm.
electronic waste also will be mixed with general waste. However, when we
Hmm.
know that this is the big problem that we can see, when it mixed together with all the normal waste, general waste, and so on, it start to break down because we know that electronic contain a lot of those toxic substance. I mean, like lead, mercury, I mean, flame retardants, with so on, and which
Hmm.
later when it goes into soil and water, it will affect those natural resources that we have. So sometimes in some places, some people try to salvage some valuable
Hmm.
material like metals from the debris, like so on. So that is also like, because normal people, you don't have the really knowledge on how to handle those things, it also can lead into the health and person safety health and also environmental risk. So in order like, and to make matter those all worse, floods often also sometimes damage the recycling facilities which nearby flooding area. So that's why how we connect the floods, it getting or worsen the e-waste problem.
Hmm. Understood. So, do share us like any case study or any example, like your story to back up with, so that we can have a better understanding. Like,
All right. So let's, for example, like I give an example on Malaysia. Now we are getting end of the year. We normally like having a flood issue. Okay, due
hmm,
to heavy rains. Our end of the year is our rain season. So it's
okay,
normally like a lot of places we come like having a flood issues, and then especially flash flood now is happening
hmm,
not only in the rural area, it come into the middle of Kuala Lumpur. Okay,
okay,
so yeah, so those things is actually, for example, like there is one area which I did the case study is placed
mm-hmm,
in Selangor, it called Hulu Langat. So that people, the household people in that area, they feel every time flood come, I mean every year they happen to see the flood after flood, so they need to, either to buy the new one or repair
hmm,
the electronic devices. For example,
hmm,
we are really live with the electronic devices like
that's
TV,
true.
computer, and so on. So that makes them like so frustrated. And then the
Hmm,
thing that they feel that what it leads to the community engagement or community empowerment, which I did right now currently on my work with the community, is I try to help them in a term of having the e-waste into the circular economy,
hmm.
to
Oh,
help
okay.
them from having like second thought or maybe feel like it's a burden for them to buy a new item of electronic device after flood.
Hmm, hmm,
So
hmm.
that's this always happen. And then in Malaysia, like especially if in rural, the thing where they mix up after flood, I mean all the general waste together with the train is always happen because it's a
Hmm.
panic under pressure on that time, right?
Okay, okay. That's really interesting that you share few things with us. Okay, continuing on, we have a next question, which is like, what innovative or community-driven approaches have you seen that turn e-waste management into an opportunity for an empowerment rather than just a burden?
Okay, just I mean before we go to this session, I already stated that me and my team we did the project community project with
Yeah.
the Hulu Langat people in Selangor, which is
Mm-hmm.
that area is normally been having a flood every year. So for
Mm-hmm.
them, the one thing that they feel so burden in their life is every year they need to replace a new electronic device, which of course electronic device is not a cheap matters for
Mm-hmm.
people, right? So they need to spend on their TVs, computer, and phone, and so on. So what we do is the community project actually plan to start the e-waste recycling hubs first. I mean the
Okay.
nearby, not so near. So we
Mm-hmm.
don't want it to be like when flood happen, it already will damage the recycling house. So we planning
Mm-hmm.
into the quite afar, but it's still in the I mean in the surround area, so it can be reachable by the people. So we start to have the recycling hubs. We start to set up the recycling hubs, which is what we do is we train the youth, okay, the young people into how to dismantle, into what
Mm-hmm.
to sorting, what category on e-waste, because e-waste also have the category, and maybe giving them what we call technical vocational education, how to do upcycling, repairing, and so on. In the same time is actually we relate with the all collectors, I mean the e-waste collectors that have in Malaysia, like when the after flood, so the people can return, I mean to return back the whatever the electronic device is been beyond repair to them, and then they are willing to either giving them a voucher which they can purchase in the discount way, the new one,
Mm-hmm.
or they just replace with the same amount of the price of they bought the electronic at the beginning. I mean that
Okay.
is how like we did. I mean we make the agreement with the recycler. And
Mm.
another part is at the early of the year or middle of the year when they know flood happens. So what we do, we gather all the villagers, I mean the people around there, to let them know that okay, whatever that your electronic device, you need to label it. I mean to know is it, if yeah, we are worried when the flood, if it to happen to us, the
Mm.
electronic will be carried away by the water like that. So you need to label it, and then we also identify which area that you can, collect, and you can grouping together. So it's easier for the e-waste collector to come and collect. So that is
Hmm.
how actually we are trying to help those people. Is not only to give them the benefit of, lifting up a little bit burdens for
Hmm.
them after flood, and in the same time we are trying to introduce to make them see that e-waste is part of the circular economy currently.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that is what we did with the community.
Okay, that's really interesting perspective. So, is there any particular type of e-waste that tends to spike after floods?
All right. So normally handphone will not be problem because people is easy to
Yeah.
take and carry with them, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But when
that's
it come
true.
into the heavy, yeah,
Hmm.
into the
Hmm.
heavy electronic device, like for example, air conditioning, you cannot carry your aircon. You
Hmm.
want to
Hmm.
uninstall and carry, or maybe your TV,
Correct.
your big screen. So those
Hmm.
things, even though we think that okay, aircon is not very crucial in life, TV is not crucial in life, but for the
Hmm.
hot season country like Malaysia, aircon is very important.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
TV, yeah, TV is important. So if they don't have
Yeah.
those electronic in their life,
Hmm.
they feel empty.
Oh, that's really an interesting way that I can also understand the necessary of it. All right. So, in your view, what role should government or NGOs or any local community each play in building a sustainable framework for e-waste management after the floods?
Okay, so actually, when we talk about my work for the after flood, is actually working is I'm as a preliminary
Hmm.
project for Malaysia under the Department of Heavy Metals Environment.
Hmm.
So on the government side, for the government side, what I feel the role for the government side is, of course, to provide the proper structure or policy and framework,
Hmm.
because that is what government always did. I mean, like government should ensure that the response plan, the disaster, including how to proper waste segregation system. I mean,
Hmm.
since like I say, like for example, a country like Malaysia, we're having this flood issue. Our government, when we talk about flood, we are having the policy for during flood. I mean,
Hmm.
during flood, yes, we have this emergency response team and so on. However, when
Hmm.
it comes into after flood and then the waste segregation system, it's still like in doing, I mean, in progress. So that is the thing that the government side should have a look more.
Hmm.
And NGO, as always, like the one that always being the bridge between the,
Yeah.
policy and the people. I mean, the government and the
Yeah.
people. So NGO should be more active in
Mm-hmm.
term of, building the sustainable framework for e-waste after flood. Like it cannot be only for the academician like me, I mean researcher, like maybe
Hmm.
like you. So it
Hmm.
should be like NGO who are going to be the bridge for that, to be super active on that. And then of
Hmm.
course local community is the foundation of all of it. I mean, if the community itself don't want to, prepare or get ready themselves to know, to be aware about those environmental or electronic waste, so that is something that we cannot do at all. The local community, they are the first to experience the impacts of the flood. They know what's
Hmm.
burdening them, and in the future they should know that it's not only happen to themselves in terms of economy, it should be worsen to their future generation, which is impact the soil and environment.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is what I thought the roles of each of them.
That's truly absolutely right. So, have any of these approaches, either it could be by government or it could be by any NGO, have you observed any approaches led to new jobs, skill, or any local businesses? Because usually it get affected, right? When we talk about floods, usually first thing first, of course, with the waste. We face this issue like jobs or like skills basically comes with any businesses getting affected. So is there anything you can shed a light on?
Of course, when it come into that, when we talk about big industry, I mean big
Hmm.
industry, the area where they have a flood, yeah, it happened. Before this, I accidentally meet with some of the big company where happened to facing the flood. But in Malaysia, when we talk about industry, we have a very proper policy and framework for the
Okay.
e-waste. I mean, the
Okay, okay.
industry, they have the proper channel. I mean, they know
Hmm.
like the thing is in Malaysia is mostly of, I think not only in Malaysia, I think most of the people around the
Hmm.
world, the country, mostly lack a little bit on the household term.
Hmm.
People who are in house, that we are our parents, our family. So we are not in the industry. I mean, industry, when you set up the industry, the bigger the industry that you have, I mean, the
Hmm.
bigger the company that you have, you will need to follow the instruction or requirement from starting management until the waste, if you produce a
Hmm.
waste, right?
Hmm.
But for the household, that's why my focus into the household at this time, because when I go through those industry, those big company, they know what to do. They
Hmm.
know this is where go in this in, but not to the household manners.
Hungry or health conscious? Discover Nelagam, your trending destination for heritage nutrition. The world's moving to real foods and we are setting the pace. From high fiber millet noodles that instantly hit for busy Indian homes to our powerful traditional rice picked for immunity and pure taste. Dive into millet flakes that made for crunchy satiety and heart health with gluten-free varieties for all ages. And don't miss our delicious millet pasta, rich in protein, light on your stomach, with trending flavors like multi-millet and Kutravelli, crafted for nutrition without compromise. India's top creators are making us viral, but your taste buds are the real reviewers. Go beyond trendy, choose heritage, choose health, try Nelegam, the real food influencer.
Okay, okay. So I totally understood like what the point that you're trying to make here. If you could paint a picture of what a truly resilient, Fred ready, or like a e-waste conscious community looks like, maybe in present or maybe in future after 10 years, what would that vision that you have imagined?
Oh, okay. Imagining kind of future, like giving a lot of hope. When you say 10 years, maybe long time ago, 10 years is quite a long time.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
nowadays, I think 10 years is
that's
short.
true.
Like that. Yeah, when we talk
Yeah.
about flood, ready, e-waste, I
Hmm.
really, really hope that on the 10 years, people at least would have very clear awareness on how to
Hmm.
handle their electronic waste responsibly. I mean, like,
Hmm.
we don't talk about the flood. We talk about the e-waste, handling the e-waste itself. Because currently, I believe you, Dr. Sama, if you ask your surround your friend, I think like if you didn't really aware or cautious about the sustainability of the environment, mostly when we talk about waste, is either our old handphone we keep on us. I mean, we didn't
Hmm.
use, we keep on the lock, or
Yeah,
we give to other people, or we just throw into the rubbish like normal. I mean, like
that's true.
we didn't really care. So that's what I hope. I mean, in the next 10 years, at least people at least have the,
Hmm.
awareness, cautious on that, how to handle. I mean, where they should send their e-waste if it already like over than repairing, or
Hmm.
maybe on that time, in the 10 years, at least the government have a proper e-waste management policy framework, especially for the household. And
Hmm.
then for the legal collectors, because currently in
Yes,
Malaysia, I don't know about the other country, but I believe in my country we still have that problem. I mean, the illegal people who are taking, and on that, we as a community, sometimes we normal people, if we don't get awareness on it, we also don't know is it is legal or illegal. So
that's
that's
true.
why I mentioned that in 10 years,
Hmm.
I really hope that people really, really know about this. I mean, where
Hmm.
to go, where to send, and then like, and also always think that electronic waste is not something only a waste. It's something that
Hmm.
can be part of, circular economy. Like I say, like
Yeah.
everyone from kids until the business people would see that e-waste not as only as a garbage. That is what
Hmm.
I see. I hope in the future 10 years.
Yeah, that's the great vision to have, I would say, because like it's very practically
Yeah,
applicable. So yeah, that's very much necessary as a visionary or an academician or a researcher like you. So
yeah,
when we talk about like so many initiatives and policies, do you have any idea like what in your opinion maybe if
yeah.
this policy has been implemented then it will be like nice, it will help any people, or if there is any policy which is already in Malaysia, if you could share a little bit light on that, maybe in the other parts of the world where these kind of policies are not there, if any policy maker is listening to us, it might help them. So
Okay. When we talk about policy. when I did my PhD, I did my PhD in electronic waste. So
Mm.
I've been to Japan. Japan is really, really did the electronic waste is very well. They did it
Mm.
very good. We don't talk about, I mean, the other European country like Switzerland,
Yeah.
Sweden. They already have the zero waste policy. So
Mm.
including the e-waste. I mean, like when we talk about Asia,
Mm.
Japan is the highest top in handling e-waste. They not only have the policy, they even their own people know how to handle the e-waste. So that is what
Mm.
I wish actually in 10 years, I mean the other country like Malaysia and other can follow that. I mean in Japan, what they did, they have the what we call the EPR, extended
Okay.
producer
Mm.
responsibility. Yeah.
Responsibilities. Mm.
So what they did is the producer need to make sure the e-waste they make circulation back. I mean, like
Mm.
they have the recycling fee implemented into the electronic device, and even
Mm.
they are like if you return back the electronic device, you will get the half of the recycling fee if you didn't buy the new one. So that is what we call the good way. The policy on e-waste that I've seen is a very
Mm.
good, I think, among Asia, where I've seen by my eyes. And of course, when we talk about the technology on handling the e-waste or recycling the e-waste, yeah, Japan is always ahead. And so when I went to China. They
Mm-hmm.
also, even though they don't have the EPR yet, but they
Mm.
have those technology to recycle the e-waste because they are a big country, and they also have the certain area where illegal e-waste is quite big. So they manage very well currently.
Mm.
So there
Oh,
is
okay.
some kind of case study, yeah, I saw by my own eyes when I did my PhD.
The country like India, where we have a lot of population issue, someone like China, but here managing this kind of the bigger picture of floods and e-waste is not that easy. When you mention about the EPR and everything, we have, but lot of policies are not full-fledgedly implemented. Very few of them
Ah,
knows about it, right? Yeah. So I would really take this as a very nice tip or thing to take it on, for that any country people will have this is a worthy. So continuing on our next question, what are the major changes have you observed compared to the Malaysia and of course other countries? Where do you think your country is it ahead or is it behind? I'm sure it is ahead. And what are the things that your country you think need to improve?
okay, like okay, we start with the positive side. I mean, Malaysia
Hmm.
has made a very, very strong policy advancement over the past decade, especially on the solid waste or management. But how currently the government has formalized e-waste collection through licensed recycler. So
Hmm.
through the under the Department of Environment, and also our government also already prepares special apps we call e-waste apps, where in e-waste app people can public can scroll down and find the legal recyclers by themselves
Hmm.
to return back the e-waste. And also a lot of awareness campaign that be made by the government to the people. However, when we talk about people itself, when we talk about advancement policy, yes, but when we talk about implementation and awareness at the community level, that is something that need to be enhanced. I mean, really, really
Hmm.
work. Because when I did the survey during my case study, there is still many people still didn't know where, still didn't know how to dispose their e-waste properly, especially like people in rural area or maybe the
Hmm.
flood prone areas. So they are very blurry about that. They know e-waste
Hmm.
like something, of course, is dangerous when you say waste, right? But they do not
Yeah.
know where the proper channel to do it. Another way around, maybe in Malaysia, we could move a little bit faster forwards into strengthening
Hmm.
into innovation and circular economy initiative,
Hmm.
which make like e-waste is something whatever country like Japan
Hmm.
and China did. So I say like Malaysia, of course, in ahead in term of policy, in term of structure, yes, of course,
Hmm.
but needs to catch up on the grassroots of participation, enforcement, and public awareness. So that's what I see Malaysia currently.
I understand your perspective. You're coming out from Malaysia, but I know how is the situation here in, like as I mentioned, India or any African countries. If you
Yeah.
see here, we face a larger issue, and we feel like Malaysia is doing very good, you know, to be very frank. So,
uh,
yeah, this is the
even
reality.
though we are a small country, but still, in terms of awareness, that is not
Hmm.
easy.
I would say comparing to these kind of countries, Malaysia is really doing a little bit better, I would say, because they're trying to implement this kind of policies and there are like NGOs working towards it. In India, the floods in northern part of the region like Maharashtra is usually get affected, of course, landslides and Haryana and UP.
Yeah,
These kind of districts like mostly get affected a lot. And
yeah,
here focus from the government is like only to have a resilience towards their livelihood. Nobody would think about like there is the e-waste happening. It is also a part, it is ending up in a landfill. So I think it would be nice if countries like us it will take these kind of points. So my question to you in this note, like what would you like to advise to these countries, like where to start? So if you have any
uh
opinion you could share. Yeah.
where to start? Okay, I don't want to say like where to start. I mean, like, actually it start with, of course, we go into the people who are in academician. You are the
Hmm.
one who are having those knowledge. I mean, you are on the upper level, being knowledgeable. You have the opportunity to see the world, to see the differences of the advancement. You are the first people.
Hmm.
I mean, in front row. So you are the one who need to start it first. Yes, of course. When I start at the e-waste, actually 7 years ago, I did start. Actually, there is none of Malaysian, really what we call the leaders on e-waste
Hmm.
on that time. I start it with MT. The government, when I confront, I mean, come to the Department of Environmental Malaysia, they feel like,
Hmm.
what you say, what your topic, why you want to do this e-waste. I say like this, and
Hmm.
then they say like, are you going to have like empty hope and so on? So I say no, this
Hmm.
is the advancement that we need to carry. So it's good. I mean, like, now, in Malaysia we have, moving forward into until to the community level. So I think
Hmm.
that is the other country which not started yet. You can
Hmm.
start
Hmm.
with the people who are in the academician. But when I say about like India, I think last time when Punjab area have the flood, actually I'm
Hmm.
there. I'm in Chandigarh University in that time.
Hmm.
They
Oh.
having me as a visiting professor there on that time.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I faced the floods. So when
Hmm.
we talk
Hmm.
about
Hmm.
the flood, then I say, okay. So I start to talk with what we call academician there, lecturer. I say, this is what the
Hmm.
project is all about. My project,
Hmm.
I'm trying to share. So that's why I say, in other country, we're not start yet. The academician need to start. They need to be the
Hmm.
front leader for this. And
Okay.
then it will be like government can accept and so on.
That's true. I completely agree with you because if a academician cannot shed a light, then no one would.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
So definitely, it's an eye-opening conversation with you, Dr. Nurul Aini Osman, and from flood recovery to circular economy innovations. Definitely, your work reminds us that sustainability isn't about systems; it's about people, it's about community, it's about
Yeah.
resilience and reimagining waste as a resource. Listeners, if you are listening from a flood-prone area, region, or working in an environmental policy or an academician like her and a researcher like me, I would say I hope today's episodes have sparked some ideas in your perspective on how e-waste can become a tool for empowerment and not just a challenge to manage. So please take notes from this. Reach out to her if you have any further ideas. Call her to your country. I believe she will be like helping you out. So let us bring all this together. And my final question is be like, what's the one challenge you would like to share, or with everyone watching or listening to us right now? That where could we start making today's to have a a realistic future, better future, you could say.
Okay. The easiest way to start is with yourself. I
Hmm.
mean, your own awareness, your own openness and interest to start with managing your e-waste. I mean, like everyone, I think even
Hmm.
nowadays, kids also have their own electronic device. I mean,
Hmm.
based on yourself or in
That's
your
true.
among your family matters, that is where
Yeah.
to start it.
That's true because everybody knows to use electronic device.
Yeah,
Everybody knows how to operate, but no one knows how to manage it properly when it is ending up as a e-waste. Usually we throw out in a landfills or most probably there are buyback policies, but not fully fledged. The buyback
yeah.
policies only applied during the festivals like Black
Oh,
Friday sale or some Christmas sale or any festival in India. Usually that's how it happens. It's not 24/7 available. People will wait
yeah,
for their time, okay, and they will be like give their old goods and they will try to buy back if they want to buy back something new. What if they
yeah.
don't want to buy something new? In India we used to call as a kabadiwalas, those the
Right.
e-waste collectors. Yeah. So
But
but
in Malaysia, we have
mm,
the list of price. I mean, like all the recycler, when you return, if you don't want to buy the new, we give you money. So that is
ah
currently, yeah, what is our government did now. But it's still like not so populated
yeah,
awareness
yeah.
for community. Yeah.
That's true. The same it happens, but in the kabaddi wallas, what people have problem with. Let me tell you, being realistic, they will give in a very cheap price. If you got something, for example, like 5,000 ringgit, they will give back only 500 ringgit or even less than that. So people don't want to give it to them. They want to they want to wait for that opportunity. They want to exchange, and that's how things. Most of the people they are like okay if what is like 500 they just used to throw it like that. So that is the problem right now I have observed.
Yeah.
um you gave us a very right advice. So thank you for that. So definitely thank you, Dr. Nurul, for sharing such a thoughtful and inspiring insights. Where I really appreciate it is like how you have shown the e-waste isn't just a post-disaster problem. It can
Yes.
actually be a catalyst for resilience, skill, and opportunity. So this conversation have been so refreshing because it connects the science of sustainability and with the lived experience of communities. Circular economy here isn't just a theory. So it's about people rebuilding stronger, smarter, and more sustainable towards floods. So that's the kind of perspective that turns the problems into the real change. So thank you so much for sharing that with us today.
You're most welcome. Yes, you're most welcome.
All right, guys, if you ask me what is the call for action, I would say, just like Dr. Nurul said, start small. Whether it's a repairing a device or joining a local recycling initiative or advocating a better disaster waste policies, every action counts towards building more circular driven community for the future. And don't forget to share this episode with someone who is passionate about sustainability or a disaster recovery. Let's keep the conversation going. And if today's conversation resonated with you, and just don't stop at listening. Join our community at the sustainability side and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, and of course, we have other broadcasting platforms. And if you would like to go one step further, support us through Coffee or Patreon, where members can get exclusively bonus content, deep dive toolkits, and behind the scene contents, access to the sustainable strategies that actually work. Then you could do one thing, you could also give your love and support by contributing and by becoming a member of this engaging community. You could join us, follow us in Discord, in our website, which is available in WordPress. You could join us via LinkedIn and of course YouTube, Coffee, and Patreon. We are available here. The links you can check it out in the description below. And before you go, here's what the little sneak peek of what's coming next on the next week on the sustainability side. We have divided the digital front lines of the climate actions with Eddie, an environmentalist and a founder of Humanity. We'll unpack how social media and educations are reshaping the fight and against this climate change. From viral campaigns to the grassroots learning, he will be the shedding us a lot of tips this topic. So thanks for tuning into the sustainability side. Together we are not just talking about the change, we are making it by action. Because sustainability isn't mine, it's ours. So until next time, take care, stay tuned, curious and inspired only on the sustainability side.
Feel the joy, let's unite.